Keiko won't perform anymore. He's on to the more serious tasks of learning survival skills. But the Oregon crowds are enamored by his every move, every pose, as he settles into his new home. It's a lot like the lines at Disneyland, an hour-plus long wait outside the Oregon Coast Aquarium. They're all here to see Keiko the whale, a famous orca who arrived from Mexico special delivery 6 days ago, destined for a better life in captivity and a chance to be freed. It's his first full weekend at his new home, and like a magnet, he's drawing a long, non-stop line of cars, fans who've come a long ways for a look. At times, this line stretched a quarter mile.
Can't wait to see him.
We're from Junction City and Springfield, Oregon. This is Brianna and Riley, and brought her to see. Who'd you come to see?
Keiko. Oh, we just came out for the day, just to bring the family out. My mom came all the way from California just to come see him.
They watched Big Willie last night just to get ready for it.
Once inside, they're stacked 10 deep with kids on the inside, awed by Keiko's every dive, every lap around his luxury pool. Keiko's trainers say it's hard to say who's watching whom.
Sometimes when he's just absolutely fascinated by someone or something on the public side, and he'll just sink and just sit there and watch.
After only 6 days, Keiko's way ahead of the original goals. He's already responding to his new trainers and swimming a lot more than before.
He has much more room to stretch out and swim in a much more natural pattern, seeing the increase in his diet from where it was in Mexico City to here.
Mike Glenn's worked with whales in captivity for 30 years, but he's never seen anything like this kind of attraction before.
It has to be from the movie itself, and then once his plight became known.
Keiko's become a bona fide 3-ton international celebrity who now calls Oregon home.
Keiko's appetite has become voracious here in Oregon. The whale is now eating like a wolf. It's double his Mexico City diet, up to 200 pounds every day or more of raw herring, sardines, salmon, squid.
Keiko's doing great. We're very pleased. He's gotten a lot better, a lot quicker than we thought.
People are coming to visit Keiko's new Oregon home in staggering numbers. 45-minute waits in line are not uncommon. Adults paying $8 a head. Already, some 200,000 visitors have filed in, with few apparent regrets.
He's neat. He's cool. He's cute. He's 16. I've never seen anything like it.
Look at me, look at me, look at me.
Keiko's trainers and caretakers are trying now, with handfuls of fish offered as enticement, to get him moving in different ways. New ways of breaching, for example. The behavior mod is working.
He just stuck his tongue out of his mouth, which was totally new. It's totally different. So he came up with something that said, well, if I do this, maybe I'll get a fish for it. And that's the whole idea, to make him think on his own.
Keiko was airlifted from Mexico to Oregon just 2 months ago. Now, swimming in cooler water, breathing cooler air, and pampered in the extreme, Keiko the movie star whale is not merely surviving, he is thriving.
He looks like he's just cruising. Just cruising along.
Witness an extraordinary mammal-to-mammal phenomenon.
That is worth the wait.
Gracefully moved.
People 5 and 6 deep pressing and craning to spy on a killer whale. The line stretches out the door. People from
Salem, Atlanta, Georgia.
waiting hours to see
Keiko.
Well, Keiko.
Came here to see Keiko, of course.
10,000 people lined up to see this whale this week.
This is more than we expected or even planned on, so we've had to call in extra staff.
These people got through the line out front, pushed their way to the window, and still waited another hour and a half.
Well, he's famous, celebrity.
He's a huge celebrity, all too literally.
And don't think Keiko doesn't know it.
He's going to breach. Oh.
He can see those people as well as they can see him. Keiko's trainers say he is loving every whale-adoring minute of it. Keiko lives out the dream of every teenage male. One twitch of his pelvis sends a thrill through the crowd. Of course, he has to endure all the blabbing about his lack of blubber.
They've already tried him on squid, and he doesn't like it.
And everyone openly scrutinizing his complexion.
And then you can see the skin warts he's got there.
His skin should clear up in the natural salt water, and swimming in this bigger tank should help Keiko build up his physique. No hurry. It's clear that people love Keiko just the way he is.
Every day, 6 times a day, Keiko is on the fast track at his new home.
It's time for the big guy to work. He's in a big pool. And he was in a pool in Mexico that was about 4 times smaller. And so we feel like he's never reached his potential.
They're using whistles, hand gestures, and food to coax Keiko into a new exercise routine. It's working. His appetite has nearly tripled since coming to his cold water luxury pool at the Oregon Coast Aquarium. His longtime trainers from Mexico say he's already showing signs of filling out, firming up, feeling good.
I look at him and he's doing so well that I just, he's really swimming a lot. He's eating a lot. He's so hungry, and he really likes the windows. He really likes to watch the people there.
And they love to watch him. Thousands make the trek to Newport, hoping for an exchange like this with the famous orca whale, who has such a hold on kids' and grown-ups' heartstrings.
We hardly see him in the surface anymore because he's curious around the windows. He looks at the people and he likes that.
His new trainers say it's easy to connect with Keiko because he loves people and wants to cooperate.
We want his brain to work as well as his body, so we don't feed from one position up here. We move all over the pool. He's got to find us. We may move staff members all over the pool. Everybody's got a bucket, and we'll send him running back and forth between each other.
Trainers say they're making stellar progress because Keiko seems up for each new challenge every day. In Newport, Kelly Love, KTW Northwest News, Channel 8.
Looking beyond the delightful dance between Keiko and his fans, Keiko's new playground has a serious purpose.
Right now we're just trying to get his activity level up and his daily food intake up to where it should be.
Keiko has health problems. For starters, he's too skinny. But his appetite is already improving. He's already eating more than in Mexico City, and his trainers hope to double his intake by next week.
We've also seen a change in his activity level. He's spending more and more time swimming. He now has the opportunity to really kind of stretch out.
Keiko is finally getting the exercise he needs to build his muscles. The pool in Mexico City was a quarter the size of this tank and gave him about as much room to swim as Willard Scott in a hot tub.
Oh!
That takes us to that drooping dorsal fin. It got that way in part because his pool was so shallow he spent too much time at the surface.
Another thing about that dorsal fin, it's about 4 feet high, and in Mexico City, Keiko could only swim in one direction. Pretty soon that fin started to lean, and then gravity took over, and the fin flopped. That dorsal fin will probably never recover.
His trainers think Keiko can survive in the wild even with the floppy fin as long as he learns how to catch fish.
Are they just something else in his pool, or does he actively search, hunt, kill, and consume?
That is worth the wait.
It's impossible to tell Keiko's admirers not to get attached, but remember, he's here only to gain the strength he needs to leave captivity.
Keiko! Oh, well!
On the road to healing him, trainers and staff have come to track Keiko's every physical development. Now researchers are trying to understand the whale on a higher level. What does Keiko think? Some visitors to the aquarium have answers.
What do you think Keiko's thinking when you see him?
Having fun in the water? I kind of think he's sad because he's locked up in a cage.
Scientists may soon be hearing Keiko's thoughts.
If Keiko is making vocalizations, those vocalizations
would show up on that screen. And
researchers at the aquarium have just installed special underwater microphones, cameras, and a computer to see what goes through Keiko's mind. More specifically, they're learning about Keiko's behavior, what actions link up with which noises. The whale's caretakers say they must understand this knowledge before they can release Keiko.
We have to know if Keiko can echolocate. To be able to survive in the wild, he must be able to do that. He has to be able to see and hear, and he has to be able to eat live fish.
Before Keiko, researchers have been primarily studying whales from the surface and above the water.
Now, with this new research equipment, scientists can observe Keiko from above and underwater 24 hours a day.
this gives us a more natural idea as to what he's doing when there's nobody around. And so you're seeing natural behavior out of him, not man-induced.
Plus, researchers say man will know much more about killer whales overall by observing how Oregon's favorite whale behaves.
He's looking at you.
How much do you guess that Keiko the whale weighs?
50 pounds. 1,000.
How much?
80 pounds.
Today, some adults, Keiko's vets and keepers, decided to find out. Using a specially rigged construction crane, Keiko's large staff carefully eased the big mammal into an oversized canvas sling. For the first time in a year and a half, lifting the ex-movie star right out of his personal pool.
They want to know how he's doing, his ongoing progress. He's been doing phenomenal. We just want to see how phenomenal he's doing.
With the keen media attention that often greets Keiko's every move, his vets unveiled the whale's new weight, a bit over 9,500 pounds.
He's very close to wild standards, but we're not going to let him off the hook at this point. We'll continue to push him and exercise him every day.
Since his arrival from Mexico, Keiko has gained nearly 1 ton in weight. Lots of fresh herring has helped. To visitors, what that means is a now 5-ton whale, healthier and beefier than ever.
Whoa!
Keiko will call the shots.
The voice should sound familiar. Maybe the faces, too. Jean-Michel is the son of the great ocean researcher Jacques Cousteau.
We now need to find out.
The younger Cousteau has now joined the friends of the most famous killer whale in the world and the unprecedented effort to set the mammal free. He's taken a position on the Free Willy Keiko Foundation Board of Directors, and he sends no mixed message. Cousteau says Keiko should be set free.
We are presently looking at the next step. And the next step is to bring Keiko in a controlled environment, which will be nonetheless in the ocean. So for the first time, since he's been captured, he will be in an ocean environment which will allow him to hear, listen, communicate in the world that he should have been left in the first place.
Cousteau's talking about some kind of sea pin in the Atlantic Ocean where Keiko could learn to survive in the wild but still get some help from humans. And the whale's recent clean bill of health from an independent group of vets and researchers is a step in that direction. Cousteau says the whale will set the timetable for when that will occur.
What's interesting is that Keiko is probably going to be ready before we are, because it takes time to set the animal into a new environment. It takes a lot of precaution.
Probably much like what we saw 2 years ago when Keiko made his way to Oregon. Only this time, Keiko will be saying goodbye.
As he leaps out of the water, it's almost as if Keiko knows he's finally headed home after nearly 2 decades in captivity. Keiko was only 2 in 1979 when he was plucked from the waters off Iceland. Now he's going back. The Prime Minister made it official after a year negotiating with the foundation set up to make Free Willy truly free.
We're all very pleased. I feel as though the staff and I have had our foot nailed to the gas pedal and our hand on the emergency brake for the past month or so, waiting for an answer.
Beverly Hughes is president of the Free Willy Keiko Foundation. She says that the emergency brake is now off for good. Between now and the beginning of September, activity around Keiko's pen in Newport will be feverish. 450 different activities must take place to ready Keiko and Keiko's Bay pen in Iceland. Keiko's trainers take measurements of his blubber density, information that'll tell them how he's doing once he's moved from here. It's a tight time schedule. Construction nearly round the clock in Iceland, hard training in Newport. All must be in readiness in less than 3 months.
So we know that if we can't accomplish this by a certain date in September, then we must wait until spring.
Ann says Beverly Hughes, even though Keiko is moving one step closer to freedom, it doesn't assure he'll one day swim the open ocean again.
We are only moving him to another captive situation, so there is no proof right now. We're just going to move him to a better, it's been a wonderful life here. We're going to enhance that one more time.